Today's Farm Bureau Capital Conversation is with Senator Missy Irvin from Mountain View, serving District 18, and as chair of the Senate City, County, and Local Affairs Committee. What issues are foremost in the City, County, and Local Affairs Committee this session?
I think there's a lot of issues that deal with property rights and protecting property rights, which is part of the initiative that I'm bringing forward with the Arkansas Association of Counties and Farm Bureau and a whole legion of folks that have joined forces on the Unpaved Roads initiative. And I think that initiative is something that really gets to the heart of not just protection for our municipalities and our counties, but also for farmers, ranchers, and private property owners. So that's definitely the big issue in my opinion, but we always are dealing with annexation issues and just different types of administrative issues when it comes to city councils or county operations and how they're structured.
What are your goals for the Unpaved Roads program?
My goals is to really set a statement and a precedence that our state of Arkansas is very forward-looking into addressing the issues that we have found through the Endangered Species Act and the designations of critical habitat for those species. This is really an attempt to set up a mitigation program to show that our state is very proactive in responding to some of the concerns out there, which will hopefully avoid unnecessary lawsuits from washing up on our shores, whether that be from a county perspective or a city perspective or from an individual property owner's perspective. You're talking a lot of money, whether it's from an individual or a county or a city or even our state, in having to maybe address these lawsuits that we know have occurred throughout the country and other states.
Tell us about your bill, SB 341.
Senate Bill 341 is one that I've sponsored in conjunction with the Arkansas Cattlemen's Association, and Farm Bureau is very supportive of that bill, and it really addresses disaster relief and agricultural relief from when a disaster occurs. When you receive those payments, it's an income tax exemption from any of those disaster payments that you may get from the designation of a disaster. Really this came about because of the results of experiencing the drought that we experienced, which affected over 75 counties in the state of Arkansas, but particularly hit hard cattlemen and forage producers. And so the bill is aimed at really trying to help them moving forward for an income tax exemption off those payments that they may receive because of a disaster.
How did you prepare for your role as Joint Budget Vice Chair?
A lot of reading, a lot of research, a lot of understanding the state budgets, and a lot of course, being here through the process for the past 4 years is something that I've been actively engaged with. Whether it's from the perspective of looking at different agencies and some of the problems that actually have been caused in certain instances in different agencies, and I've kind of tackled some of those in the past and looking at their budgets and making sure that monies that are appropriated are spent where they're appropriated. And so for the past 4 years I've kind of taken that role, and so I was excited to be able to be nominated and voted to be Vice Chair of Joint Budget, because I think it's so important when you look at our state budget, and I think we can be aggressive about looking at where we're spending the money and if we're getting our money's worth in spending that money. That's going to take a longer process, I think, than just this session, but I think there's a lot of folks really focused on where can we make cuts and how can we trim the state budget for future sessions, which will translate hopefully in more tax cuts and tax exemptions for people that really are struggling out there. So I'm excited about the process, and it's working very well right now, and we're going to have a very tight budget and one that's very conservative, and one I think that the state of Arkansas will be proud of.